Aaron Flores.
Andrew Whipple III.
Fort Meow.
What was it I called it earlier? Cat Fortress?
You called it Fortress Meow, and I do think that's a hilarious name.
Arguably a better name.
Arguably better. All right, so we are Quest Side Story. This is the game Fort Meow, and it is from Upper Class Walrus Games, published by Surprise Attack. We're doing a review for it. I'm excited.
As am I.
Okay. So what do you think of physics-based tower defense type games?
Never seen it before.
Never seen it before. What do you think of this?
Sold.
All right, so it's important to say that when we're doing a review right now, we're now going to be talking about who's actually completed certain things, just so you guys know where we're coming from. I actually finished. I played this game to completion. It is done. And Aaron, you have played a pretty good chunk of it, right?
Yeah, I sat down, played a whole bunch of it, and you know, it's not a bad game.
No, it is not a bad game at all. The target demographic is not our age. It's actually not us type of gamers at all. I'd say that it's more casual than anything. But let's talk about some of the mechanics of the game in this review. So they have a lot of weight with the story, right? And it's kind of weird for a game like this.
It really is.
Yeah, but we'll get to the story here in just a second. So this is the house. As you progress through the game, you have to light certain things up. Now, we're at the point right now where we have to go to the next area. So we have to look at this piece of paper. What happens when you combine a statue and the chain link? What happens, Aaron?
You get a chain statue.
Okay.
It's dope as hell.
So in order, there we go. Oh, and there's the secret area. We get the stamps, which are a collectible.
Oh boy, stamps.
Let's see where we're at.
That's always fun to collect.
And yeah, these are the stamps that I have. So we're missing 5, it looks like. And they're just there. It's not that big of a deal. These are the cats that we're fighting against right now. More on that in just a second.
Yeah, and that's very similar to the almanac in Plants vs. Zombies. Where
Sure.
Gives you a brief rundown on the enemy types that are coming at you. Because as you guys may have told, this is a physics-based tower defense game.
That's correct. Now, Aaron, here's the thing. We can pick 3 different places to go, because this door is locked. We can't get in there yet. So we can pick whatever one you want. Why don't you choose one for me?
Let's go to the living room. That's where the party happens.
The living room? Do you consider this the living room?
No,
or the
downstairs.
bottom? Okay.
The room where people live in.
The room where people do stuff in.
Yes, like live.
Sitting room, maybe? All right,
no one
so
calls it that.
We're going to go ahead and use this. So now that the room is all lit up, we can actually go ahead and pick up a bunch of other things that are going to help us defend against the kitty cats. Now, what do we pick up? Well,
fridge.
Anything that I highlight.
Oh, boo.
Yeah, it's not like that. So
I've seen Indiana Jones. If you could just climb into the fridge and deflect the cats infinitely, it could deflect a nuclear missile. So
that's correct, yes. So here's the bubble fan. We can't use it yet, but we're going to pick it up, and it takes 100% of your battery. We still have 300 to go. So we're just going to pick up a bunch of this extra stuff. I never use the toaster. They all do unique things. We've got the cooler over here. It's a low cost, 2 hit points, and you'll see how that works here in just a second. And what else? Oh, the grandfather clock.
Get to talk fish.
That is not one.
Everything awesome you can't interact with.
It's unfortunate, yes. All right, so we cleared the entire room already. It's all gone. So if we beat this one right here, we'll be able to go to another room. Usually, that's how it works. All right, Aaron. So these are all the different utilities that I can use to defend against the cats. And if you look on the left part of my screen and to the right, I know you know how to play this game, but I'm just explaining it. This is going to be a new cat that we haven't fought yet. And we can expect 4 melon cats from the right and 2 other cats. So they do a good job at describing what's happening. But I have to defend against the cats. And this is a weird mechanic. It's time. So 320 are up there, but if I put the grandfather clock down, everything is 5 cheaper. So let's see what I can build. Why don't you tell me about your experiences with this game while we're working?
My experiences with any game like this is to pile as much crap as I can on top of each other, see how high it goes, and then go.
And then go.
And then absolutely go.
Then absolutely go, okay.
Super go, actually.
I see. Now, I'm a big fan of this lamp because it actually it stops 0.5 of each attack. And yeah, that sounds kind of ridiculous, but I'm just that kind of person. And people who are playing this game are not like me. And that's the truth.
Yeah, so you're putting way more thought into this game than I did. I kind of gave this game the free-to-play treatment where I just stacked stuff up upon stuff upon stuff upon stuff until it worked. If it didn't work, then I restacked it. And to my knowledge, there's no scoring system in this game. I haven't seen one yet.
There is no scoring system. That's not how it works. There's a couple things like this TV right here. If it gets destroyed, it gives you 5% extra battery. Is it necessary? Does it ever really pay off? Maybe once during the game, but it's not that difficult. It's just another one of those little things.
It's one of those items that if you have the space for it or if you have something to spend it on, that's a perfect thing to just throw in there.
Yes, that is correct. So now I'm at the point where this is really weird. So I've got 2 coffee tables here, right? But I have a fat cat that's coming, and he's just gonna slice through everything I've got. Well, let's take the grandfather clock that just got me all that stuff for 5 less, get rid of it, and now I can put even more stuff on there. Yeah.
MLG. Fort Meow.
That's just how it goes. All right, so we're gonna be in trouble here though, because I've got 4 cats coming from the right. That'll probably work. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, and then 4 will kill it. And then I've got 4 more over here, so that's 1, 2, and 3. So that's not gonna work. But just so you can see how it goes, we'll put one here, we'll see what happens, and we'll probably call it a day.
They're going to fly right over that. But by all means,
they
go
might.
ahead.
They might. I saw you put one down earlier, and it's cool. So this is how it works. Let's see how it goes. And so these bubble things, they pick up the little kittens, as you just saw. Let's see what happens.
Things seem to be going fine or not.
And there we go. Strategy worked. Excellent. So here's something else that I don't really care too much for about this game. There's lore if you want. It's really unnecessary for a game like this, in my opinion, to have something to continuously look through. You actually, we were talking about this before, something like Angry Birds, it doesn't really have a story. It's just something real simple.
Yeah, it's just a slideshow, and it happens so far and few between. You know, it's hard to compare this game to something like Angry Birds, but
it is.
You know, we inevitably have to, because a game like that, it just kind of has these slideshows. It's between every chapter, so you only see it every 10 levels. In this game, every level you complete, you're gonna find some sort of piece of lore, and I feel like it's between me and the gameplay, and I just skip it every time because I just want to keep going. I just want to keep playing. I'm not gonna sit down and read it, because a game like this, like, while it has my attention, I don't want to divert it. You know, I could see myself playing this on like the bus or on a plane or something like that, or waiting in a doctor's office, and I don't want to read when I'm playing this sort of game.
Okay.
Which is, you know, I don't want to use the filthy C word, but you know, it is a more casual experience.
It definitely is, and that's my whole thing, is that this game is targeted at a different demographic. It's very well constructed.
But here's the thing, though, is you say it's targeted at a different demographic, but sometimes those games can penetrate other people. As I mentioned before, you know, I really like Cut the Rope. I played a little bit of Where's My Water, Angry Birds, games like that. There's so many of them, and it can hold my attention for a little bit, but the problem with this game is that I feel like it's staggered in a really intermittent way that it paces the action, which is just having to read all the time, and I just want to stack stuff up and go.
And you can do that. You absolutely can do that. I actually am more put off for the fact that it's missing certain things. So when this game first launched, that wrecking ball thing was gone. Another thing, did you notice how it left the stuff that was up here? So there's some items that actually get stronger. Actually, there's only one item I can think of that gets stronger the longer that it survives, which is fine. That actually helps out a lot.
It's like IKEA furniture.
Sure, yeah.
That'd be funny if it was like an IKEA furniture.
It would be pretty funny. Well, it doesn't, there's no button to kind of like reassemble what you had, because I know that you're the same way with something like this. You have the tendency, you're gonna kind of build it in the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's not, you shouldn't be penalized for something like that. I'm not a fan of that type of design. It's annoying that you have to continue to build. It's sort of superficially padding it. But like I said, I'm firmly believing that it's aimed at just a different type of audience. And that's fine, because people play stuff like this all the time. And let's go ahead and see what happens here with some of my new junk. You saw me open up that new room. I also don't like how...
Open up that present as well.
I mean, look at all this. Like, it's real tough, too. I wish that there was an easier way to get to the rest of this.
You know, it reminds me of Plants vs. Zombies, which had such a significantly better interface, because you would just have everything you want, and you say, okay, I want this plant, this plant, this plant, whereas this game, it just has one really long sort of just list, kind of like Minecraft, picking your stuff out.
Oh, sure, right. Okay, so we've got this all situated. Really, Aaron, one thing that just puts me off about something like this, it's easy to recommend this game to everybody who's just looking to kill some time, but it costs too much money.
Absolutely. It costs $7.99 on Steam right now. I'm not sure of the Apple price, but I can imagine it being more or less the same. And $7.99 for a game like this, we have to talk about the competition when you look at it. You have Angry Birds. Every single Angry Birds game is free. And if you don't want ads, then it's $1. It's a single dollar. And you know, games like Plants vs. Zombies is like $2.99, $5.90, or $5.99 for the HD version or something like that. It's $7.99 is a really hard commitment for a game of this caliber when there's so much stuff very similar for free.
Sure.
To compete with just the kind of time killer game. And it hurts me to categorize this game kind of as a, oh, well, it's just a time killer game, but it sort of is. It
sort of is, yes. It's in a way, it's tough to, yeah. I feel that way too.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing, but that's definitely what this game is trying to go for. All right, so let's see how we do it here. I typically don't use things like this, but it's kind of cool just to show it off. You know what else is weird too is there's RNG when it comes to these bubbles. I could catch all of those kittens next time in the bubbles. So I have won these things, Aaron, by just pressing defend again as soon as I'm done. Because if you fail, it does rebuild everything for you.
Really?
And I think that's a weird mechanic. I don't know why that is.
That is very strange.
All right, so let's go get something else real fast.
But you can't really dock a game for having RNG because it has these physics-based things, so it's like anything can happen, but that's kind of the fun of the game.
That's right.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
That's absolutely correct. And it's not that long of a game. There's really no reason to come back to it once it's done. Actually, as soon as you're finished with the game, there's no endless mode, which I think a game like this is really structured behind.
See, that's something I can get behind, of just like, give me an endless mode and I could just play it, turn my brain off, play it on the bus, play it on the train or whatever, play it on the toilet, wherever I may go.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean, it just makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so we'll make this the last one. Why don't you just tell me your final thoughts on Fort Meow?
I like this game. I really do. It's got a lot of interesting stuff. It feels a little dated. Like, if this game came out maybe 5 years ago, like the fact that you're like, oh, this came out in 2015, where it's like, it seems like a really early, like everyone going crazy over touch-based games and things like that. I like it, but the price is too steep for me to recommend it. $7.99 is a really steep asking price for a game like this when there's so much competition that's either free or costs $1 or a couple pennies more.
Sure, yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you in that regard. It's constructed really well. I think that it plays well. The premise of it is pretty coll. I mean, saying that it doesn't need a story like that is just nitpicky. And people can do whatever they want with it. That's why there's all sorts of different developers and things to do. It plays fine. Like, this game has issues, but if anything, the developers have shown that they're listening and that they want to make this game better, which I think is great. They said an endless mode is coming, but the fact of the matter is that it isn't here.
Yeah.
It is not here. This stuff is not here yet. The game is out. It's not early access. This is different. This is the full game. And just like Aaron said, it's too much money. But The gameplay's fine. I'm gonna have to say that it's a pass on this one for me.
I would say pass, but if you see it on a Steam sale,
oh yeah,
for like $1 or anything like that, like this game's bound
$2,
to end up
$3.
like that. $2, $3, well worth the price. But at its current retail, I would say wait. There's currently no Android version available, also, which is a bummer. But usually with games like this, the Android version usually comes months later. But it's way harder to develop on Android than it is for iOS, so that's understandable. That's an understandable thing to happen here.
Yeah, and this game plays pretty well on stuff like tablets. It just feels like it was made for it, and that's really what it is.
Yeah.
All right, Aaron. Well, there's our final synopsis of Fort Meow by Upper Class Walrus, published by Surprise Attack Games. We are Quest Side Story. If you go and visit questsidestory.com, you'll be able to check out plenty of other reviews. Aaron, thank you so much.
Not a problem, and allow me to play you out. Except I won't, because that's the kind of guy I am.
Makes sense. Let's get the hell out of here.